Well, it is the Advent Pod SA, a timely voice indeed, and I'm your host, Kakana Sudupane, aka Kaki by Nature. And I am here with an entrepreneur, a property lover, a technology lover, and of course a legal mind. Today we're going to learn all things about startups. We're going to learn how to have you become the most successful self in your startup journey. And I'm sitting with a person who has gone through it multiple times. So he's going to introduce himself, and we're going to see where this conversation takes us. Before that though, subscribe. Thanks. Our guest for today, Luntu. Tell the people who you are, my man.
All right. Good day, everyone. My name is Luntu Quntana. I feel the need to give the whole name because some people know me as Luntu and some know me as Aya. But I am a reluctant lawyer. That's how I try to define myself, a reluctant lawyer. But please, I love the law. Mm-hmm. So I am a person who, as Kaki mentioned, who loves the law, who is an entrepreneur, who loves business, who loves the startup ecosystem as a whole. So I position myself as a person who is basically there to make life easier on the legal side for startups. And I have a lot of other passions as well in music. I think is a big part of my life, and sports and running. But yeah, I'm just a human on this earth trying to figure it out day by day. Nice.
So we're gonna now have a conversation about your journey, right? So most people would say, look, you stumbled upon a career that most people would pray for, and you say, of course, you're a reluctant lawyer. You graduated at some of the illustrious universities of our country, and then you decided to just step into some uncertainty. At a very early age, I might add, when the parents are still thinking, yes, he's a lawyer for our family, you know what I mean? And perhaps going into being admitted and things like that. And then you go into uncertainty completely. How did that happen?
Thank you. Yeah. And to the family, I'm very sorry. But yeah, so it's a journey that I think started a long time ago for me. So my framing, I think from a very young age, I was always a very academic focused person, a very sports focused person, a very sort of cultural debating kind of focused person. I always had a wide range of interests, right?
Sure.
And I think sort of how I sort of think entrepreneurship came to me was I was in grade 5 and I got an award for, I can't remember what it was, in primary school.
Yes.
So I got this award, and the award was basically you get to buy yourself a book.
Okay.
So it was a voucher from Exclusive Books.
Nice.
I think it was back then. And that was 2005, got that book, and I went to Exclusive Books, and for some strange reason, I think it was probably the cover. The book that I got was Screw It, Let's Do It by Richard Branson.
Okay.
So I was in grade 5, and I don't know whether it was just the word virgin or it was just the colors of the book, but for some reason I thought, okay, this is interesting, because I used to read a lot of like fiction kind of books. I never really into the whole self-help or entrepreneurship or that kind of thing. But so Screw It, Let's Do It is essentially a book about Richard Branson, about his life, how he got into entrepreneurship, and his journey from basically a 15-year-old starting a magazine all the way into starting a record company, also in the early ages, and then all the way into sort of Virgin Airways, right? So Virgin Atlantic. So that sort of, I think, planted the seed when I was in primary school.
Fairly young.
And I think although throughout my years, I was never really thinking, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to go into this uncertain world. But I think it stuck with me. So when I got I got to grade 11, and one of my mentors said to me, what do you want to do?
Okay.
So I said, I'm not quite sure. I was very honest. I don't know what I want to do.
Sure.
And strangely for me at grade 11, I didn't think of university. I was just doing whatever I was doing at the time. I was part of an army program. I was part of an army cadet program. So the SANDF was launching a cadet program. So I was part of that. So every weekend and other holiday, we'd go to the army bases and learn. So I know how to strip and assemble an R4 rifle.
Ooh, interesting.
So,
and
yeah,
maybe
so-
some discipline there as well kicked in.
Yeah,
didn't
and discipline. Yeah, I was also the most disciplined cadet
Nice.
after the 3 years of the program.
Wow.
So I loved, I had a lot of interest. So I was like, I don't know what I want to do. And I think it was sort of in that stage where he was like, okay, what do you want? Right. And as a child, you are very honest, right? I'm young, very honest, very upfront. I'm like, well, I want a house in Cape Town, a house in Sandton.
Yes.
I want a Range Rover.
Yes.
I want a Mercedes Benz. I want a Bentley.
Right.
Right. Cool. And then he's like, how much does this cost?
Okay.
So he then like work out the numbers. I think it was about 100 and something thousand rand a month that I needed. So he's like, okay, so whatever career you get, you need to be able to pursue. You need to be able to afford this amount. This is the life this is how much your life costs.
Yeah.
So that gave me a lot of like
Insight now.
I'm like, okay, all these interests, which one pays me?
Yes.
And at the time, the person that was closest to me that was making a substantial amount of money.
Sure.
He was a collector. He had like 7 BMWs and he used to collect them. And he was, I think at the time, earning way more than that amount.
Sure,
right? And he was young. He was probably 35. And he was an attorney, right? And I worked for still is at one of the top law firms. And that sort of to me was like, okay, maybe that's an option, right? Because it wasn't like, okay, I'm going to go into this because of that, but I was like, okay, that's an option in terms of living the life I want to do and also make an impact. Right?
Yes.
Because you also want to be able to make an impact. It's not about just getting the money. So that sort of is what set the wheels in motion into me going into sort of the legal space and then jumping out of it while being in it, in a sense.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but your question was...
Just how did it happen for you? But
how
I
did
think
it happen?
you did, yeah.
Yeah, so I got into, fast forward, into Wits Law School, got into the law school here, and I think coming into Wits as well, I think as my interests, I will talk about them later, that also sort of pulled me in a lot of different directions, and I started running a small business helping entrepreneurs on campus register their businesses.
Wow.
Because people, I think it is still a new thing. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, but hey, but is your business registered?
Right.
Like we were selling, we didn't care about whether your business is going to last for a year, for 5 years, or like it's just an idea you have now. But it was like, okay, this is an opportunity. This is a gap in the market.
Yes.
And also teaching entrepreneurship. So I don't know how I was teaching entrepreneurship when I was in second year, but that's sort of where I was. And part of that journey was also now the Alan Gray Orbis Foundation.
Nice, yeah.
So I bumped into some friends and they were like, hey, there's this program, it works with it looks for people with entrepreneurial mindset.
Nice.
And I was fortunate enough that worked out for me. And I think that contributed a bit more emphasis on my entrepreneurial thinking.
Yes,
so the Alan Gray Orbis Foundation then honed that.
Yeah.
So as I went into university, I went through law school.
Yes.
My mind was still on, I'm present.
Yeah.
I think one of my biggest strengths and challenges is that I'm very, very present in the moment. And because I'm present in the moment, sometimes I don't think about the 20 steps.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, I'd like to go there. It stays there, but right now I'm here. So I was there. And how I got into the law firms you mentioned was also from the people around me. They were like, oh, do you have articles? Someone in first is like, is there a firm? Articles. So in my mind, I'm
how does one get articles?
Why am I writing articles? No, genuinely, I was like, why am I writing articles? Because I didn't, when I got into law, it was, okay, there's the finished product. Right? I'm seeing this gentleman, and I'm like, this is how he's living. That's how I want to live. So I didn't have any idea of how he got there, and I knew him. I never asked him. I asked him when I had a conversation about him about careers. His words were, "Don't be a lawyer."
Wow.
But I was like, I want that stuff.
You being selfish, bro.
So I was like, I want to do that. So as I went through my university years, some guy asked me. Sidiso asked me, hey, do you have articles? are you signed? No, the question was, are you signed?
Oh, right, because you have to be signed by a law firm
Yeah,
while
so
you're
I'm
still
like,
here.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, are you signed? I'm like, wait, what do you mean? And then like, no, by a law firm, articles. I'm like, right, I need to write an article to a law firm. Why? I'm in like first, second year.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, maybe let me do this thing because people are doing it.
Yes.
And maybe that's how that guy got there. Because I remembered one of the firm that guy was signed at was the one that this mentor of mine
is recommending to you.
Was at.
Oh, okay.
He was working for at the time. So I then went and applied for articles. And I did the VAC work program because there's a VAC work program, do the vacation work program. After the vacation work program, then I got an offer. And it was in second year, I got an offer at one of the top firms. And I was like, okay, now I need to sign. And the thing is, the offers are it's so crazy, right? You're in second year and you've got offers and it's got big numbers. Yeah. And you're a student and you're like, this sounds a bit, like, okay, well, let me, the first one I got, I think was Norton Rose, and they were like, we want you. And then I went to Weber for the second one. So I went June I went to Norton Rose, December I went to Weber. So in June, they accepted me and said, yeah, we want you. But then the paperwork was still on its way.
Okay.
And then in December, I'm at Weber and they're like, we want you. So I'm like,
now you have to choose.
And like the numbers were sort of similar.
Yeah.
But then Weber's sort of gave their paperwork very quickly. And there was an amazing gentleman there, Tabang Ratao.
Nice.
And he was like, you know, when someone loves his work and loves the people, working with people.
Yes.
So because you get some HR people who are sort of like, we're not, like, I'm here to do my job.
Right,
You're just a number. But he sort of was like, okay, after the interview, was like, so tell me more about this aspect. Tell me more about this. Why did you do this? So he had a keen interest in me. And I think one of the funny things, Adventists, I'd written on my CV, I'd written religion, Seventh-day Adventist.
Right, that's what we all do.
And part of the interview questions was around that. So, so I got signed, and I ended up going with Weber because Norton Rose was a bit slow. Okay. And so I'm in second year now. I'm signed, right? I move third year, focusing. I'm present, just on that work, and then we move on to so now I'm at the end of my final year, right? Final year at university, at law school, and I'm thinking, now it's time.
Now it's time.
I need to go and work. Yeah. And I just had this lecturer in intellectual property, and I don't know why. There was something about intellectual property that just drew me in. I'm like, okay. So it was an elective, and I'm like, this is very interesting. Yeah. And I'd never heard of it before till that lecture, right? And then I thought, okay, this is interesting. Let me apply for a master's. Okay. So I applied to UCT, and I got accepted. But now I was in this weird place where I've got an offer for my articles that I committed to 3 years ago. Yes. And I've got now this UCT offer. And I thought, okay, now I need to make a decision. Yes. And it's one of those things, I think, in life as we move along, one decision leads to another and leads to another, and that's sort of how we get here. And that I decided that I'm gonna ask the firm, tell them, listen, can I get a year off to study and then come back? And my family was not really keen on that idea. Yeah, because now you must make money. Yeah, and it's the whole thing of like, jobs are scarce, and the older generation. Yeah, there's the trauma. Yeah, maybe they have a point, but there is that trauma as well, that like and everyone back in the day would have their 30 years of service at the particular employer. Yeah. 25 years of service, 10 years. There'd be those certificates like on the walls. People show that I've been loyal to this employer. So they're like, but what if they don't allow you to? You're already ruffling feathers. You're not even in the door, so they'll think you're a problematic employee. So I was like, I'll take the risk. I don't know what informed that confidence. But so I decided I'm going to go to UCT, and the firm said yes.
They agreed to you.
They agreed to go figure out how you're going to pay for it.
I mean, you did negotiate it like a lawyer, so I mean, they had to accept.
So I went for it. And UCT was another learning curve. I didn't have funding because I didn't ask the firm for funding because I didn't know I'm going to do this.
Yes.
And I had an offer of funding from an institution. I'm not going to mention them just to protect them because they didn't live up to their word. And that's another tip in life is get things in writing.
Hallelujah.
Please,
Amen.
whatever it is, when someone makes you a promise, have it in writing. If someone says I love you, please write it down. Write it down. So I basically then was at UCT. I don't have funding. And thanks to Fees Must Fall.
Oh, yes.
Thanks to Fees Must Fall, I didn't have to pay an upfront fee in that year.
Nice.
And I didn't have to pay an upfront fee for residence and for registration.
Wow.
So that made life so much easier. So I get to Cape Town. I don't know anyone. I don't know anything. And I don't have accommodation. I forgot. In taking things, I forgot to apply for accommodation. But it also comes back now to entrepreneurship and uncertainty, right? Yes. So I'm in this space now where I'm in this new environment. I don't know anyone. I don't know anything. I don't have a place to stay.
Yes.
And I navigated it. There was a family friend of a family friend who stayed in Cape Town, very far from UCT. They were like in Kraaifontein or something.
Oh, 3 trains away, bro.
Three trains away. And they were like, you'll catch the train. I'm just like,
Oh, Cape Town trains also.
So I'm like, okay, fine. So I get to the student housing. And I'm in the line. I get there. I'm like, hi, this is who I am. Here's my student number. They're like, did you apply? I'm not sure. Yeah. And I was like, maybe I could have ticked it. I don't know. I mean, no one looks at those forms. Who does? But look at those forms, guys, and please tick the appropriate stuff. If you need accommodation, if you need funding, please read your forms correctly, right? So then I went into, so I'm at student housing, and they're like, you didn't apply. Oof. And residences are full. Therefore, you need to go and apply for off-campus accommodation. So they send me to the off-campus accommodation. And I get there. In my mind, I'm like, this makes no sense for me. For me. I mean, it's my fault, but it's for me. It doesn't make sense for me. I don't have money.
Yes.
Right? I just come from Wits. I don't have funding. And I'm not going to bother my family because they said go to work. So this is my problem, my responsibility, so I need to solve it. So I met a friend of mine who's just a friend to this day. She was running in charge of the off-campus accommodation, Spogazi, and I get to her and I'm like, hi, this is my situation. I cannot afford off-campus accommodation. No, there are options. I'm like, listen.
not a dime.
Listen, I'm at this point where like I don't have any money. So I need to find a way to get onto the university accommodation. And I know they said it's full and there's a waiting list, but I need to get in. And then she was like, well, there's nothing much I can do, but you can come, we can listen. I like talking to you. And I spent, I think it was almost about a week. Every single day, I'd be at student accommodation, sitting with her when she didn't have a student. She needed help. At some point, I was sitting with her, and they're like helping. I'm helping as well now because I know how it works. Process, I know how it works. But one of the blessings in disguise of sitting there talking to her, outside of like calming me and making me feel more comfortable in Cape Town, it was also the head of student accommodation, like the university student accommodation. She used to walk. When her office was behind Spogazi's office.
Right.
So every day she'd walk in and she'd see my face. And each day it's like, you're still here? And I'm like, ma'am, I told you yesterday, I told you the day before,
Yes.
I don't have any options.
Right.
I am from the Eastern Cape. I mean, I am originally from the Eastern Cape.
are, yes.
And it's also a better story, right? They just say I come from Joburg. 'Cause
Yeah,
the assumption is you're from Joburg, you've got money. So
Right.
hey, man, I'm from the Eastern Cape, so I don't have any options, right? So after a while, she knew my student number off by heart.
Okay.
And one day, she just comes in with an envelope. Says, I'm tired of seeing your face. Gives me an envelope.
Wow.
I open the envelope. I've got residence.
You've been accepted.
I've been accepted. That's like one hurdle done now. Now I've got a place to stay.
Great.
Great. And the uncertainty continues in the sense that now I can at least have a place to sleep. I don't have food.
Well, yeah.
I don't have food. And I think it goes back to the uncertainty thing and entrepreneurship and finding ways,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And it's that resilience that this is what I want, and I'm going to work on it. I'm going to figure out ways of resolving this thing and iterate, right?
Yeah.
And I then moved to, so I think one of just almost to the part now where I leave law is during that year I needed to find ways to sustain myself. And one of the ways was an opportunity that came through one of the students in my class. So I'm in a master's class and it's like people of different ages. And there was a lady who was a director at a regional non-governmental organization. And she was like, what do you do for money? I helped her on an assignment. She's like, oh, what do you do for money? I'm like, well, I'm sort of trying to find a job or work that can work around my schedule.
Because you're also in school.
Because I'm also in class, I don't want to fail, and I also don't like the conventional jobs as a concept. And I can't apply for university jobs because I need to have been here for a year.
Cool.
So she was like, oh, we've got this opportunity. We need an independent consultant to help us design an online course for activists in 18 different African countries.
Nice.
So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, what is this lady saying? What? And it's on intellectual property and access to medicines.
Okay.
So I'm like,
Opportunity is an opportunity.
Yeah, and I'm like, listen, I'm not clear on what you need, but give me a shot. If it doesn't work out, you don't need to pay me. If it does, please pay me.
All right.
So I think that attitude impressed her. I don't know what it was, but I got that. As an independent consultant, I needed to now register my own company.
Right.
I needed now to learn how to to invoice.
What?
So I'm like, and I was like, hey, I don't know. She's like, you must send an invoice, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I mean that space sort of then taught me, okay, there's a way of alternative way. And I was doing that work for her, and while I was doing that work, another organization within the institution, which was in the economics department.
Yes.
And they it was called the Poverty Initiative.
Okay.
And they were doing research for National Treasury on youth, on youth unemployment, the impact of youth unemployment.
Yeah.
And they had a report, I think it was close to being done, but they needed someone to sort of review the report. They asked me, hey, can you help us out with this? And I was like, I don't really know economics outside of the word economic.
Yeah.
But I'll give it a shot. If you don't like it, don't pay me. So they gave me the report, a lot of graphs and a lot of graphs.
Okay.
That I couldn't understand. I could read the heading. I could read the x-axis, the y-axis, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Yes.
But I read the words, and then I sort of did a summary. They gave me sort of a portion of the report and said, give us your summary.
Okay.
One word, one page. So I give the one-page summary. They're like, oh, we actually love how you've processed this. And the people who will be reading this are non-economists. So
right. You did it for the layperson.
Yeah, for the layperson. So you've actually articulated in a way better than we would have, because we need to work through the process of breaking down the concepts ourselves.
Right.
You've already broken them down in your mind, so when you write them, they are clearer.
Right.
So that was another project that kept me going, and I think at that point I was making a lot of money from just
those two projects.
And I was at a point where at the end of end of the first year of the master's, I was basically being asked, for more work, and I was asking myself, okay, now I need to go into articles.
Yeah.
And I've got this problem where I'm making a lot of money.
Business.
And one of the big mistakes one of the clients did was they sent me someone else's invoice for the same work, similar work. And the context is just for context.
Yeah.
This person, I had been paid 20,000 Rand as an upfront fee.
Yes.
And the other person got paid $10,000 as an upfront fee.
What?
So as a student in my position, as I mentioned, that 20,000 Rand was a lot of money.
It was, yeah.
But when I saw the $10,000, and I was like,
wait a minute.
But I mean, at that point, I'm like, okay, things are good.
To be humble.
I need to like accept that, okay, I'm also just a student out of university. But I was like, okay, so there's potential in the space. And this was like not really legal, it's like consulting kind of work.
Yeah.
And now my work is working with people across Africa.
Now you have experience.
And I've got experience, I've got exposure. And one of my mentors, I said to him, I'm like, I'm not sure I want to do these articles. Because if I just stay here, I just get another project, then I can just also put my $10,000.
Sure.
And maybe this could be live, you know?
True.
And my mentor said, well, I think do the articles and decide afterwards, because it'll give you a bit more weight behind your name. Yeah,
yes.
More weight behind your name once you say, I've done my articles, and you've got a good firm, so whatever you do afterwards, you'll have that credibility.
Nice.
So I sort of went into law with, in the back of my mind, I want to leave.
Yes.
I went into the articles knowing that I want to do more than just the conventional sort of career.
Nice.
So it didn't. So the instability was, in a sense, planned. But of course, with instability, you can't. You can't.
Okay. No. Interesting journey and interesting story. I think there's a lot of nuggets there that one can pick up throughout your story. And I think this is where I'm gonna then ask. You know, the law kind of is a slow career, to be honest. Like when you start, it starts off slow. There are levels to these things. You can't do one level if you haven't done another. And then there's business, which you just mentioned. You're doing very dynamic things with your businesses. And then you go into technology at some point. When did the technology part start? Because that's where I'm interested now.
Yeah, so technology. It's interesting how tech is not technology. Tech is a whole other buzzword. Everyone needs to be somebody in tech, and nobody knows what tech is.
True.
But how I got connected with technology was in that first year at UCT. The NGO, I need to build an online course.
Right, yeah.
And in that online course, you've got all these different layers, right? So you've got the course content, right? So there's the content that goes out to the different students. And then from the content, it's the engagement with the students on the platform. And then it's the sessions with the student, the actual virtual sessions with the students. So it sort of was a space that was showing me that, okay, I can connect with people in 18 different African countries.
Yes.
And they're able to sort of gain value, I'm able to provide value, and I'm able to get paid.
Okay.
So for me, it was like, that was my first sort of interaction with sort of technology. And while I was doing my articles, I sort of had an opportunity that came, there was this startup bootcamp, Afritech, and Bonbilla, which is an MIT-based accelerator, entrepreneurial accelerator.
Wow.
So I think it was through Alan Gray, they sort of like put this out, say, hey, anyone's interested, here's an opportunity. And I was like, oh, interesting. I applied, had to do a video, and I needed to have an idea.
Yes.
And I think one of the, not the requirements, but one of the things that were mentioned was technology.
Yes.
So how do you make making a process simpler using technology?
Good.
And at that point, I'm an attorney to be, and the best I could do was, okay, I can actually automate some of the processes that we do, because some of the things that we do are repetitive, and also the way that they get to clients.
Yes.
can also be made better if we involve technology.
Yeah.
So my first business pitch for that was called BizQuad, and it was basically around digitizing the provision of legal services.
Nice.
So my tech, sort of how tech got into my world was first year at UCT, and then it was this startup bootcamp, Afritech, and accelerator program.
Yes.
And I think when I applied, I think I sort of had an idea of what it was. I had to pitch it. I think that pitch was the worst thing that I've ever done in my life.
First times, bro.
And you like, for me, I think the embarrassing thing for me, what made it even more hectic was you're in the room, and my girlfriend at the time with her brother, and Rob Herzog was there as well back then. It was like 2021.
Okay, he was back, yeah.
So he was, it was 2021 or 2021. And you're in this room, and everyone had a product, right, that they already developed, and they were sort of just working and building on
demoing
it.
To the people.
Yes, demoing. So I am demoing an idea. And I'm doing an idea, and everyone's confident, everyone knows they've pitched before. And I'm a public speaker. I mean, I'd preach, I'd do all these things.
You were a Stasm chairperson.
I was doing, I've always been speaking. Right. Even in the army program, I was the chaplain.
Oh, so here we go.
But in this moment, I'm like, okay, there's all these factors. And I prepared. I think that's why we had a conversation earlier about preparing.
Yeah.
I prepared. I'm like, I'm going to do this. And I start.
Sure.
I don't know what happened with my presentation. It just threw me off. And it was sort of, it was the worst pitch I've ever experienced.
Shame, man.
To this day, I haven't seen a pitch worse than mine. But so I went through that. I still made it through. I think they heard me. I don't know how they heard me, but they heard what I was trying to do. But so I think that's how technology came into my world.
Nice.
It was sort of nudged at UCT, and then when I was about to finish at my articles, there was opportunity, and that sort of led me into a space of let me figure out how technology interfaces with my world.
Right.
And
just here. Sorry to stop you on that track. Just so that we can extract value from it now while it's still fresh. How do you propose new startup founders do a pitch? According to you, the gospel according to Luntu, how to do a pitch?
The gospel,
just a quick one, yeah.
So I think a pitch starts before the pitch deck, right?
Right.
It's one, understanding something that's preached all the time, understanding the problem that you're solving, right? So you need to understand the problem that you're solving, what the problem is. Is this a real pain point? Why is it a real pain point?
Yeah.
So a pitch is basically a story.
Yes.
Right. And you need to be able to tell that story in a way that shows that you understand that problem. That firstly there is a problem. Right. You understand that problem. You are the best person to solve that problem. Right. I think that's sort of at the end, sort of why but it's understanding the problem. It's showing that you have a solution to the problem.
Yes.
And that your solution is viable, and your solution is the best compared to the people that are around, the competitors. And I think one of the biggest thing in pitching that people sort of sometimes want to say is because they believe their ideas are novel,
brand new,
is to say, I don't have any competition. Right. So that's the one thing that I think a person should just avoid in your pitching is understand the lay of the land, understand the market. And I think even if you had sort of flying cars as an idea, right? And you say I don't have any competitors because there are no flying cars.
Yeah.
The reality is there are airplanes.
True.
Right. So how are people currently solving the problem you're solving?
You're trying to solve.
Even if you think that solution doesn't work or it's inefficient, it's there.
It's there, yeah.
So why would people leave that to come to you? So sorry, I've spent a lot of time on that part, but
it's good.
Then it's your competitor. Once you understand who else is there, and then what makes your solution better.
Yeah.
And then understanding why you and your team are best placed to solve this problem.
Good.
Do you have the requisite skills? Do you have the right network? Are you in that community? Depending on the kind of problem you're solving, you need to sort of show that you are best placed to solve this problem. And I think the last part is sort of a part that I think we neglect, and it's from my own experience as well, is you also need to understand what it is you want to get out of this pitch.
Okay.
And that comes with understanding your business, understanding your organization. Because I think a lot of times in pitching, founders focus on the problem, focus on how we can solve the problem, how we're the best at solving the problem. But now the point of a pitch is you're asking for something.
Yes.
And in order to ask for something, to understand yourself. So when you get to the part where, okay, what's your ask?
Yes.
It becomes very, I think, it doesn't motivate the panel when you don't know yourself. Right? When they're like, okay, what do you need? What's your ask?
What do you want?
No, this pitch is for 50,000 rand, so I want 50,000 rand. Okay, why? What are you going to do with that 50,000 rand?
You can't break it down.
And then you can't break it down because you don't understand your own organization. So your concept of success, your vision of success is, I'm going to get here, they'll give me 50,000 rand, and I'll
see how to use it.
I'll see how to get there. But what that leads to is just sort of a breakdown of trust between you and the investor, because the investor is like, okay, this person understands their own business. So if I put money in there, they don't know what to do with it. And I think just an anecdote, one of my friends ran a sort of a fund, and they gave this founder 2 million rand, right, grant, and she bumped into him in a nightclub. This guy, one of the founders, and he's had a couple of drinks, and she says they were just having conversations like, yo, that 2 million rand, I don't know what I did with it. But I don't know what we spent it on. And that's the other side of it is you need to understand yourself as a business, understand your needs, and also understand you're building a relationship, right? So for me, it's those elements put together. I think will help.
It's important,
will help your pitch. And I think, unlike me, please practice your pitch. Practice. Have your team sort of whoever's pitching, or if you're pitching together. Practice. Practice questions. Understand what it is. And I think sitting on both sides, having sat on both sides, it's easy to see someone who's prepared, someone who understands the work and understands the market, because questions can come from anywhere in your space. So please.
Right. No, I think that's valuable information. So you heard it here, guys. If you want to pitch to investors, you know where to find the information. All right. So I think it's good. Now we can move to maybe your other interests that are developing. We know you're in the techie space, you're in the legal space, and now you get interested in property. How?
So I think the property interest came. I think one of the things I mentioned when I was in grade 11 about I wanted a house there. I wanted a house there.
The house in Cape and Sante.
And I think a friend of mine as well, is a philosopher, talks about place, making place, finding place, as people, right. And I think for me, my journey into that world was sort of one of my, say, family friends, she was sort of in the financial services space, and she got a big opportunity to sort of, I think there was a brand that was coming into South Africa, but they wanted a supermarket chain, and they wanted to sort of wanted someone who can help them find land for them to basically have their supermarkets. And I don't know how it got to her, but it got to her.
Nice.
And she, at the time, we were like super close, and we talk about everything. She's like, oh, by the way, I got this, and I'm gonna have to find them 140 sites of these square meters and blah blah blah, and I'm gonna get sort of this commission for this if I do this.
Yes.
And she was never in property, never interested in property.
Wow.
Now she's in that space. So I think that was like one of the things that sort of drew me a bit was, okay, this is interesting. This person is facilitating this transaction and this is what it means.
Yeah.
So there's potential there. So I think for me, there's that thing of finding space, finding place, and also reading about people in the property space and understanding how a lot of people talk about property portfolios and I'm like, okay, what does this mean? So it was a curiosity.
Sure.
Curiosity that was sort of egged on by the experience of the people around me. Because I think we don't, that whole thing of you're the product of the
5 people.
The 5 people around you and all of that. And I think those concepts, sometimes those 5 people are in different places and you don't realize the influence that someone has, because that conversation sort of had me curious, and I'm a very obsessive person, so when someone tells me something, I'm like, okay, what does this mean? So I drill down into how does it work, what goes on there, and then you start talking to other people about it, and I'm like, oh, Kachi, do you know what commission in property is?
Yes.
Okay, what's conveyancing? Okay, how do you build a property portfolio? What's industrial property? What's commercial property?
Yeah.
And how do those work? And as you're going through that process, then you might bump into someone who'll say, hey, would you like to come into our business? And that's sort of what happened in part of my journey was I was in that questioning space.
Yeah.
And I was talking to this guy. I didn't know the guy. We were just talking, and he's like, "Oh, why are you interested in property?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, my sister did this, and I'm an attorney, and I'm sort of in tech, but I'm interested in how this stuff works. I just want to understand how it works."
Yes.
And he said to me, "Well, you're understanding residential in a sense, but the real money is in commercial property."
Right.
I'm like, "Okay." It's like, "Well, if you're interested, let me take your number." And that led into an opportunity that I didn't expect, and that turned out he owned the company, and it's like a massive company. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. But so that's sort of how I landed into that space, that interest, and yeah.
Wow. No, I think that's quite inspiring, because I think they do say that the building blocks of wealth and success lie in at least 3 main areas. One of them would be business, the second one would be a property portfolio, and the other one is just investing in stocks and shares.
Yeah.
I guess you then dabbled in the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I think one of the funny thought that came to my mind was I have friends, and if they are watching, I still maintain mining.
Mining, yeah.
Yeah, I want to mine.
Mining is coming up. In my conversations
mining,
and in my circles as well, mining is coming up a lot.
I think this is completely off topic, but one of the foundations, the foundation of this country,
yes,
of the world, of many nations, is mining.
Yeah.
And I think that's a space that, as much as you can make synthetic diamonds and all of that, that space will always be there.
Yes.
There'll be a crisis when there's a shortage of a particular mineral, particular metal that's there, and that's a space that I've sort of been like eyeing from a distance. Now, how does that work? What can we? And just another thing, that gentleman I spoke about, who is a lawyer, is a mining lawyer.
Nice.
And I kick myself sometimes. Because he'd always be like, "Hey, space, interested." I'm like, nah, why would I be interested in dirt? But that's where the wealth is. That's where the
value is, indeed. No, I think it's good. Now maybe let's shift into how your faith interplays with all of this. It takes quite a lot of faith to be an entrepreneur. To take risks that you take, you can't do it on your own strength. I don't believe anyone can. To what extent has faith played a role here in you navigating these spaces and reaching for more with what you can?
Yeah, so I think faith, as you mentioned, you can't do anything without faith. And I think a friend of mine, the musician, said to me, we're having random conversation over water. So
Right.
Very random. Very. He had a liter of water, and we were sitting at Wits, and we were just talking. And he had a liter of water, and he drank. I drank. It was like 10 years ago. And one of the things he said was, we think a miracle is turning water to wine, but the miracle is that you're here right now. You're present. You're breathing. Not being assisted by anything. That is a miracle. And that sort of gave me that sort of lens of understanding that everything that happens happens without our permission, without our power. And I think in my journey from high school, university, my faith has been sort of one of the underpinning, the foundation of how I navigate things. Because doesn't make sense to come from a space of university where things are sort of clear. I'm in university, I've finished, I've got a job waiting for me. And I decide I'm going to go do a master's in a space that I don't know, with no funding. That makes no sense. But for me, I think I sort of have that concept. I think it's in one of the books, the quotes in your church that people talk about, that we have nothing to fear for the future.
Yes.
As to forget how God has come through for us in the past. And I think that statement, I'm not a statements person, but that statement sort of embodies what my life has been as I always, when I go through an experience or a space of uncertainty, it's always, I'll get through this.
True.
And sometimes you have that, I'm gonna grow through this. No, I don't do that thing. I'm like, I've been led through other things, and I'll be led through this. And I understand that the plan is bigger than me. We used to run a soup kitchen here. Partly with STASM and also with students around campus. And how that started was one of the guys at STASM used to have a friend who was homeless, I think in the TikTok age, unhoused. A friend was unhoused. And the unhoused, he used to give him food. And then this friend had other unhoused friends. And then he'd give them food. And then eventually asked us to start assisting. And this turned into a soup kitchen where we were basically feeding about 120 people a night around Braamfontein. And that was, we had no funding. I was in first year. No funding. We had no way of sort of like, how are we going to sustain this, right? We're students trying to figure out our problems, but in that space, we got together every single day on campus. I'd go around and anyone I'd meet, hi, I'm running a soup kitchen, I need a loaf of bread.
Wow.
Because I knew I needed 14 loaves.
Yes.
And then I needed soup ingredients. And we were done.
Right.
At some point we added juice.
Yeah.
So we got better. So in that space, we spoke about it earlier, but one of the restaurants that helped, one of the people that helped us was a gentleman named Angelo from Olives and Plates.
Okay.
So Olives and Plates used to supply us with the soup ingredients at some point. After like about a few months of us running it, they caught wind of what we were doing, and one of the medical students who was at STASM sort of spoke to them as well, and we then got some support from Olives and Plates in terms of the soup ingredients and bread sometimes, and that sort of for me was that faith, right? So I used to spend every single day, because we started off just giving food, and then we asked ourselves the question, okay, how long are we going to do this? And one of the people in the soup kitchen, Tabi, I think, said, well, they're going to expect us tomorrow.
Oof. Yeah.
And that sort of then became this mission. I think when I was at WITS, I was more focused on the soup kitchen than I was on my studies.
Sure.
But grace also is what helped me get through school, because I was never stressing about school. I was focusing on the soup kitchen.
Wow.
I need to make sure that I've got 14 loaves of bread, I've got soup ingredients, and there's people who are going to be cooking and preparing all of this. And I think one of the reasons why I'm mentioning faith here is that every single day I'd go and beg random students I wouldn't know, right? And we'd always have enough.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we noticed was in that period that we were here, so 4 years, because it carried on for about 3 years, 4 years after we stayed. But one of the things was it would never rain
on the days
while we are doing it.
Wow.
So it could rain on the day, but while we're doing the soup kitchen, it wouldn't rain. And that sort of was like something that we noticed later on. Was like, no, but it rains during the day and it can rain straight after. But that period, so in our minds, whether it was real or imagined, but for us, we never experienced a situation where we are carrying our crates, because we used to carry our crates.
Yes.
We're carrying our crates and there's rain. And in that period, it's around Braamfontein.
Yeah.
It's at night, by the way. So we start at 6.
Right.
And we went to a soup kitchen that stands in one spot.
You're moving
so
around.
we'd move around. So we'd start from the Truworths, the corner, or the bus stop, the UJ bus stop. We'd start from there and then walk all the way around, down, all the way up to Mandela Bridge. No security. We've got no security, and it's mostly like ladies, a few gents, and the gents is like people like me. See, amen.
Not a bouncer.
Not a bouncer. No bouncers. And we went through that, and that sort of for me was sort of as I think one of the things that solidifies faith in that we were sustained. We were sustained. Although some of us, you'd be in soup kitchen and you don't have food.
You yourself.
And I think that's one of the things that we introduced when we get to the Stazum conversation. But for me, in everything that I've done and I'm doing, it's a journey of faith, a journey of trusting that all things will work together for my good. And it's just trusting. I've got nothing else. I don't have a backup plan. I don't have a plan B. I don't have a trust fund unless I'm adopted and someone knows my relative. Send, But that's sort of how faith has come in, and I've had a lot of moments in how I interact with people as well. I think faith has that double element of I'm sustained by this power. At the same time, then there's an obligation on me as well to be honest, to be ethical. And I think one of the biggest one of the big challenges we face sort of in the entrepreneurial and business space is how to be, I think in the Alan Gray space, called it responsible entrepreneurship, right? Ethical entrepreneurship. How do you navigate this space in a way that's ethical? Because it's so much easier to get a brown envelope, to give a brown envelope. And I've had offers, and it's just my conscience. But for me, it also underlines the fact that I don't feel comfortable saying I'm a person of faith. I come to you and say I'm a person of faith, and then I'm doing the opposite. And it sort of then muddies the whole thing, because I think even those people who say faith is something that's in your mind, you can't sustain that in your mind if you are dabbling in other things. And I think the biggest thing for me is being able to go to sleep at night, being congruent with yourself. And I think that for me, that congruence is important.
No, I'm glad you spoke to the moral element of it, because it was in our discussion line, and I think it's really one of the parts where even new entrepreneurs might struggle with, because perhaps in seasons of lack you're thinking anything should be an opportunity, but it's not always the case, right?
And I thought I got you, but and I think there's something beautiful in the journey of knowing that no one can come and call you back.
Right.
Because I think as I mentioned, the one decision leads to another, leads to another. There are very few doors that are you can just walk in and close it. Because once you've walked into that space, then you become beholden to whoever knows.
Yes.
And
yes.
I think being able to sit down in a space and say, I'm here, and there's no one who can give me a call right now and say, remember that time, or I know what you did last summer.
Hey, yeah.
And those are very important things. And I think for young entrepreneurs or early entrepreneurs, it's important that you need to keep your identity in check. Whoever you are, whatever your brand is, that needs to be in check, because ultimately it's not just the influencers who have to worry about their branding, but as an entrepreneur as well. When you walk into a room, when you're not in a room, when someone mentions
your name,
there's always a perception already.
Yeah.
When someone Googles or looks at you online, what do they say about you? What does it say about you? And I think for me, it's beyond just the branding, but it's for you, because you're the person that you need to live with every day.
Yeah. No, I'm happy with that. And what would you say to entrepreneurs who, and this is really asking for a friend, the friend is me, who are now navigating working the typical job and trying to start something on the side? What do you have advice for them?
So I think that's a very important question, in the sense that a lot of people are in that space where entrepreneurship is now being branded as this thing, right?
Glorious.
This glorious thing. And there's some glory, but maybe it's at the end.
Yeah.
But I think that the important thing is sort of the basics, right? Time management.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's important to have and I hate the concept of a side hustle. It just diminishes the value of it. But I'd say I'd encourage people to do that. And I think the reason, well, number one for me, it's a very patriarchal concept, but the principle is important.
Yes.
There was a gentleman, I think he was from Ghana. Yeah, Ghana. He is an Indian guy from Ghana. So we were having a conversation. I think I was in a workshop, entrepreneurial workshop, and he said to me that in his culture, even if you have a job, it's important for you to have a side hustle. A business, you have to have a business. And whether the business is you are selling something, whether it's a service that you do on the weekends, you need to have a business. And the concept, which is why I say it's patriarchal, is sort of to say you cannot have another man in charge of your household.
That is so spot on. I think that will get a lot of people out of their seats now.
And the reason was he said, well, if you have just your job and nothing else to rely on, there's a man, and I think patriarchal again, that is his perspective.
True.
You have another man who can decide one day that your family is not going to eat.
Who can alter the mood of your family.
Yes. They are in charge of your family. And he was and his advice to me, which is advice that I'm giving, was start where you are, start small, build it gradually, and ensure that you manage your time, you manage your resources, you manage your affairs in such a way that you're not disrupting your job, because it's very important, because that's the one that's sustaining you, and that's very important to make sure that you don't lose focus of where you are. But as you're working on the other side as well, be faithful there.
Yes.
Be present there, and also find people on that journey who can guide you.
Yes.
So mentors, read.
Yeah.
I think one thing that's very important is reading.
Nice.
And I think we're in this age of chat GPT and summaries and all these things, but I think you need to invest beyond just trying to find a product, but invest in understanding the space you want to go into, invest in understanding the players in that space. And sometimes there's opportunities in just talking to people. Find out who your customers are and spend time with them. Find out where they spend time and be there. There could be forums online. There could be physical spaces. So there's a lot of opportunities, I think, for working people where people have sessions at night.
Yes.
And they have events. So if you're interested in a space, maybe like property, or in a space that's clothing or fashion, whatever it is, there's an event every other Thursday or Friday night. I mean Thursday night or Sunday night, whatever it is. But Saturday night, that sort of those are spaces you want to be in.
Yes.
Just even as a curious person, like, no, I've got a job. I do this, but I'm interested in this, and just be open.
It's really helpful. It's really helpful. Yeah, no, I think those are some powerful takeaways, and I do think we need more entrepreneurs, especially for this country. Because I was also thinking, the other day there was a report that came out. It said that young working class females are buying property more than their black male counterparts, or male counterparts in general. And so the percentages have kind of lopsided a bit, where men used to own more property, now ladies own more property, in this age group at least. So my question there is, how do we start thinking better around the solutions that were traditionally there, and how do we think about creating solutions that will fit or suit the narrative of what's going on in the property space now? Because there's a whole shift. As soon as you see a lot of female players, which is good, right? The technologies built around the property tech space or the property sector, I feel, have to be built around more safety and trust. This is my assumption, right? As a gentleman, I can live anywhere. You know what I mean? But ladies in this country, it's a bit of a different story. So how does that tickle your imagination in a way?
Yeah, so I think, sorry, just to jump on that anecdote around, as a gent, I can live anywhere. There's a picture that I saw online of a Porsche, a bed, and I don't think there's a kitchen. So basically a Porsche and a bed, and it's like, this is how men would live if women weren't around.
That's number one.
And I got it from one of my mentors, and I was like, actually there's a place in Sea Point that is a garage, and I feel like if you weren't going to judge me, that's where I'd live.
All of my life.
But I think it goes back to sort of the initial point we made earlier, is around understanding the customer.
The customer,
right? So that data around women buying more properties than men is basically giving you sort of clues in the direction to go in terms of understanding the customer, understanding what their needs are, what are their current pain points.
Sure.
And as you've made the assumption around safety, so it's important to understand, okay, who's my customer? And speaking to people who actually own property and seeing on the ground and where your beachhead market is, where you are going to start.
Yes.
You have a particular space that you want to understand. Okay, let me speak to them. What are they? Okay, their own properties. Why are they owning these properties?
What led them there?
Why do they have properties in the first place? Because why I have a property will basically inform what my needs are.
Yes.
If I want to live there, it's a very different thought process and frameworks than someone who buys it to basically let it and rent it out. And is it a holiday home? That also is a different thing. Am I looking to Airbnb? That's a different thing.
Yeah.
And Airbnb and letting are not the same thing.
They're not,
And they have different requirements. And it's understanding what that customer is, who that customer is, what that person's particular needs are, what their current pain points are, what's being solved, how is it being solved.
Nice.
And in that solution, what can be made better? How do you make it more efficient? And if it is that it's more women, then it's easier to, once you understand who your customer is, I think that report gives you sort of an idea. But for me, the best advice I can give is that there's no silver bullet, but for me, the key thing is drilling down on the customer. Speak to as many customers as you can before you build. Speak to more customers as you build. Speak to even more speak to all the users once you build,
Yes.
and speak to the people who are not the users as well, to understand why
Why they're
not migrating. And I think it's in the relationship with the customer, it's also important to always have that humility of understanding that
you're not the silver bullet.
you're not the silver bullet. You don't have all the answers. The answers are there, and the more you talk to the customers, the more you'll understand what they need.
True.
And the more you'll service them better, and the more you service them better, the more customers you have, and you keep them happy. And that's all business is.
That's nice.
Finding people who are willing to pay for your service, and people who are willing to come back,
yes,
and are willing to refer others, who will refer others, and
that's how the business grows. Nice. Now, just a parting shot before I ask you, what do you do for fun? There's a business leader in our country, I'll mention, but he has a contention with small businesses. Now, it says it takes the same amount of energy, right, to start a small business as it does to start a big one. By big, we're not talking it's big at the beginning, but like its growth potential is big in nature. And he says it takes the same amount of energy as a founder of a business to start a small versus a big one. What's your advice there?
So I think for me, the starting point is sort of, well, I think that conversation's around a scale-up versus a startup and the SMME. That SMME versus startup sort of conversation, because a startup is a business that is built to scale.
Yes.
SMME is basically solving a problem without sort of looking particularly to scale. But I think for me, it's very important to understand yourself, understand what you are trying to achieve. And I really believe that there's space for everyone.
Indeed.
And I think there's space for the different types of businesses. And there are people who are geared more towards a particular kind of business. Because I think one of the fundamental differences between scale-ups and like traditional sort of businesses is that with traditional businesses, it sort of may take... So the focus is profit, right? So you're running a business in order to make a profit, and the profit must happen now, must come now, right? And with the startup, it's sort of scale is the focus, and those are two different mindsets. So if I'm building a startup, I am comfortable with the idea that I may not make a profit for a good number of years as I'm building customers and the life that I want to live, and that may translate to more time, right? And there's different ways of funding and investment and that kind of space. And then for the sort of the traditional business, they're sort of a clear path of like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna run a spaza shop.
Yes.
And maybe that spaza shop, or maybe I'll have 2 spaza shops, then I'll have 3, maybe then I'll have a supermarket.
Yes.
And those models all work depending on how you as an entrepreneur where you are at that point sometimes,
right? And
sort of what you're exposed to. So I would not speak down to anyone who chooses either of these.
True.
Because we're all in different spaces, and there's a place in society for all of them. There are people who've got someone mentioned the quota business.
Yes.
That actually there was a friend of mine in private equity, and they were going to buy into a quota business.
Yes.
This quota business was making an amazing amount of money, and they had a couple of franchises.
It's good.
And you can debate whether that's startup, scale up, but they were just doing quotas.
Their own thing,
and that's their own thing, and they probably have like 2 branches or 3, and that's it. And this private equity fund wanted to invest in them.
It's good.
So it's sort of understanding whatever space you're in. For my perspective is to say whatever space you're in, whatever business you're in, whether it's a spaza shop, whether it's a tech firm, whether it's a services business, you need to be able to be the best in that space. So how do I delight the customer the most? Do I understand my customer the most? Am I servicing them the best? And then that will translate into value to you as well.
Yeah.
So for me, where you are, do your best there, and will lead to where you are. So that energy that you have, that's the same amount of energy. If you are using it efficiently, you are using it to perform at your optimum level, then the returns will come.
Good. No, I like that. So, seeing that you run multiple operations, I just forgot to ask you about your Pan-African activities. What do you do for fun and downtime? I know you mentioned music.
Yeah.
What else do you do? Some of the things I know, but yeah, they might not know.
Yeah. So I think I mentioned that I'm a very busybody. So tennis is something I love a lot. I run most days. I run most days. I enjoy running, I think, and walking. Yeah. Just to clear my head.
Really helps. Yeah.
When I was in Cape Town, well, I am still in Cape Town, sort of, but I was learning to surf. So I'm a very active person. I like to read. I'm very curious around a lot of different things. So I like to read for fun. I like to also read to learn. So yeah, so I read, I run. I love music.
Nice.
I always joke to my friends that one day I'm going to release a mixtape, and I hope I do, guys.
Yes.
But yeah, so yeah, that's me. I'm a very outdoors kind of person. So hike. I actually have a hiking club in Cape Town and here in Joburg. Cool. So organize hikes with a group of people, and we go and we just explore.
Nice.
I love spaces. I love being in nature, and I love interacting with other humans and building relationships and having conversations.
Yeah, that's good. And yeah, I can attest to that. And I think what you've brought out in this conversation, at least for me, is that some of the ingredients that kind of make somebody a driven entrepreneur, as it were, would be the curiosity, right, that you have. And we touched it in this conversation, the empathy you might have for people. Because why are you building things for other people when you could just keep everything to yourself? So there's that level of empathy as well. And then I think it's just there's a serendipity about it that you just want to do it, you know, and you. Well, there's a preacher's note that says the Lord will not let you rest until you do it. You know,
Yeah.
I think and it feels that way.
Yeah.
You feel like I'll never find rest until I do this actual thing. But thank you so much for the conversation. It's been a delight. We here at the Advent Pod have had an amazing time with you, and I think for those of you who enjoyed this video, if you've watched up until this far, please do consider subscribing. Like the videos and share them with somebody who might need them as much as you do. So thank you so much, and goodbye.